intro together for us.
That's cool.
I can do a Godzilla roar.
All right. Well, actually, let me see if there's a new... On that soundboard app, they had a Godzilla roar, I thought. Didn't they?
Give me Tom's Godzilla. I could help you with that.
Okay.
Seth, are you sure that you
Tom's
should even
Godzilla,
open the
quick.
soundboard?
It's too late, Paul.
Yes.
It's been open.
Oh,
Let's
no.
not have another look at my horse. And
Hold on, I got it right here, guys.
Oh,
Hold
okay.
on. Here we are.
Yeah, that's a Godzilla.
Gosh.
I like the air raid sirens most.
My most.
Yes.
My most,
My most
my
favorite.
most has to be, has to be.
Yeah.
Has to be the air raid sign.
All right. So we're just going to do a normal show. Mark, you've listened to the show before, I think, so...
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to do... we don't have any letters, though, I don't think.
I can write one real quick.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
do it.
Write it by anonymous.
Okay. Next week, each of us needs to have written a letter for the show.
We're just going to start doing that and making up
Absolutely.
names.
Exactly.
I mean, Jonesy does it, so...
I could read the letters... actually, I could read this letter from my editor at the paper. Here's
Seriously?
Here's the news release. It should be an interesting story. Media advisory event. Westfield Group invites media to attend presentation and opening of Westfield Elementary School time capsule.
What was in that, by the way?
I don't know, man. It was so boring. I didn't even want to be there. I had to cancel. I was supposed to be at a Bigfoot thing in Ravenna with Mark, and for some reason I accepted the assignment and then had to cancel my Bigfoot event.
Oh.
I know.
Hey, Alan, they're doing a Bob's Burgers comic book.
Really?
Yeah,
That'll be awesome. Because that show's awesome.
It sure sucks.
I have not watched
Your
it.
face sucks.
Oh!
Jeez.
Bam! Drop the mic.
Is Alan hungry again?
No, I had Panera bread.
Okay.
Alan
He's
does
not
get
sitting-
very, very grouchy when he's hungry.
You won't like him when he's hungry. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
I made up a superhero who, he's like the Hulk, but he hulks out whenever he gets hungry.
Right?
Call him the Incredible Bulk.
That's a
Beautiful.
thing. I'm
Yes.
pretty that's already a thing now.
Dang. Well, I have another one. This one, he turns blue and gets a slick emo haircut when he gets sad. He's the Incredible Sulk.
No, I think that's a thing too.
Oh, they're stealing my ideas.
Aren't these from
They are.
the back of those Incredible Hulk issues that like Jeff Loeb's daughter was writing or whatever?
I never wrote
Yeah,
any of
there
those.
was something like that.
Well,
That was
they
his
come
son,
up-
and his son died.
Okay, Ethan, we're live.
Yeah, way
I
to
didn't
bring
make
the-
fun of him. I said I thought it was his
Right.
son, and his son died.
You didn't say his stupid son or anything
Oh
stupid
my,
like
we're
that.
live!
I'm not saying. I wasn't saying anything.
You were
I was defending
defending
Ethan. I apologize for
His
defending
son
Ethan.
did write an issue of something.
Yeah,
It was
he got
that.
them write a comic,
It,
didn't he?
it was
Teen
Superman,
Titans, wasn't
Batman. It was
Ah,
Superman, Batman. It was like
Oh yeah,
episode
it was.
26.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a really touching issue.
Me and Ethan saw Jeff Loeb like right after that happened, like within like 3 months of his son dying.
Really.
Was he,
That's
like,
We were
terrible.
across the street from his house in a van, and
Like that-
we saw
None
him
of
getting the
that's-
paper.
That is not true.
Didn't you do that for real with what's his name, Bone guy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I went
Bone
to
Guy.
his house.
I can't remember his
You do
name.
that for real with
Jeff,
Bone Guy?
Smith.
Jeff Smith.
Ethan just shows up at his house.
No,
Yeah,
I
you
did.
did.
I walked around his front porch and looked in all the windows.
Why did you do that?
He tried to find out if it was him.
Yeah, I was like, "Is this?"
He's like, "Wait,
I don't
is
think
this
this
the
is a
Jeff
comic
Smith?"
book.
He thought it was a comic shop, right? You were trying to find a comic shop.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was his house.
It was his house. My question is, how did Google go from comic shop to Jeff Smith's
It's
house?
the address of his publishing house, and his publishers is out of his
Can you
house.
imagine what Ethan would have looked like prowling around his porch?
Yes. Yes. Yes, I
He,
can.
like, he gets out of the shower and he looks through the window, and there I am, just peering.
Ethan's like knocking on the window. Is this a comic shop?
You got comics in there? Say, all open.
Oh, God bless America. Let's go.
All right.
Are you guys ready?
And we're not recording. It's weird.
Yeah, we are. We are not recording. Okay.
We are not, or we are?
We are not recording.
Cool.
Okay, let's go.
All right. You're just gonna count us in
I'm just gonna
anyways and
Count
do
us
the whole-
in, and then you can do the spiel, and then we'll go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Wait, we gotta do that again because I don't know what episode number this is.
This is 106.
It's not at the top of my thing. I don't know
should've
why
just
it's not at the
guessed, Paul.
top. I should have said 100 and something. I don't know.
Yeah.
106. Are you sure?
Hey, yeah, we need to remember something though. There is any noises you're making, Ethan. I'm picking up through the mic and everything because we're
There's
right.
something that we have to remember.
Well, you were chewing like
There's something we have to remember.
a
You're making
bunch
a noise,
of rocks.
Ethan.
Okay,
We have
let's
to remember if Ethan makes noises
Everyone
Alright.
call him out on it immediately.
immediately.
we're going live. 3. we are live. Shut up.
106.
3.
106.
Yes, 106. 3.
106. Let's do
3.
this.
Yeah, clear it real good there.
All right, let's do this.
Mark, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
You're listening to Ancillary Characters, episode 106. Godzilla!
Who are they? Who are we? And who are we dealing with?
Who the heck are you?
Who do you think you are? I don't know what you're talking about.
Who are these sick people?
And who are these two attractive young people?
Who are those guys?
Gojira! This is Ancillary Characters, the podcast of the website, ancillarycharacters.com. I'm your host. My name is Seth Breedlove. I am joined by 4 special guest hosts tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about Godzilla. That's the topic, in case you were wondering. As always, we're joined by Alan Boone
Hi.
and Ethan Breedlove
That would be me.
and Paul Shirley.
In the house.
Ethan just blew out every speaker everywhere.
What's up, guys?
And we have a special guest host tonight.
We'd like to formally apologize for all of your speakers.
It'd be funny if someone was like listening in the car.
I
and
have
Bluetooth.
not even introduced the guest host. We're joined by a special guest host.
And I get a bill.
Okay.
They're like, pay for my speakers.
Okay.
I'm
We're sorry,
editing
Mark.
out literally everything you said.
We apologize.
Joined tonight by a special guest host, my buddy Mark Matsky.
Greetings from the White City, Zanesville.
That is literally the first time anyone's referred to as Zanesville as the White City.
No, Y City.
Oh, I thought you said the White City, like from Lord of the Rings.
It is that too.
It's Minas Tirith.
No.
Mark, before we get going here, you write for, you have a blog, monsterland.ohio, or wait, monsterlandohio.blogspot?
Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
And then you also write for a Godzilla magazine.
Yes, it's the G-Fan magazine. It's the longest-running Godzilla-themed fanzine that anybody knows of.
There might be
But
some guy who's
Yeah.
like been pumping out
Burning it out.
Godzilla magazines
Yeah.
since like the 50s in his basement.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
actually,
it's a magazine that was started in the late '90s by a Canadian school teacher by the name of J.D. Lees,
wow.
and now today it's spawned a fan convention that meets in Chicago every year called G-Fest, and they've brought all kinds of Godzilla actors and suit actors and special effects guys to the United States. So that's the two go hand in hand, G-Fan and G-Fest.
Wow. Have you been to G-Fest?
I have. I've been to the last 4, and for 3 of those, I have been part of the staff running programs for kids, bringing some Godzilla artists in and having them show kids how to draw Godzilla and other giant monsters and things like that. It's been a lot of fun. 'Cause it's real hands-on. I mean, if you have an idea that you want to bring to G-Fest, you just go to the convention organizer and say, this sounds like fun, and he looks at you and says, okay, go ahead. Start it, organize it, make it happen. So that's what I've done with the kids thread, and it's been a lot of fun.
So what all goes on at a G-Fest?
Well, at G-Fest, there's a number of things that happen. One is the films are shown in a cool old theater in Park Ridge, Illinois, called the Pickwick Theater. And so on the Thursday you go, there's 4 kaiju-related movies that day, and then 1 movie each evening that's there. And then during the day, there's all kinds of programming. Like we get Akira Takarada coming in. He was in the very first Godzilla movie and in the very last that Toho made. And also shot a scene for the Gareth Edwards Godzilla, but it got cut at the last minute. And so they interact with fans. There's panels that fans put on. There's art contests, model making contests, video game contests, and it really, and the dealer's room, of course, where everything behind me that you can see came from at one time or another. And the first time you go, it's sort of like sensory overload. You can't believe there's other people who actually are into what you're into.
Yeah.
And then the more you go back, the more it becomes more like a family reunion than it does. The first year you're like, I've got to buy everything that I can get my hands on in the dealer's room. And then that gradually changes over time to where you're looking forward to seeing these people from really all over North America. And they plan their whole vacation around this. And now we do too.
Huh. How big of a crowd?
Well, last year was the biggest. It got over 5,000 people through, which creates some problems, actually, because the organizer of the convention wants to keep it under sort of a cap room because it is sort of that family event. And I think he's going to have his hands full this year with the reaction that the movie is getting. People in the Chicago area, they can make a day of it. They can go and just knock around there for a day. It's at a airport hotel, near O'Hare in Rosemont, Illinois. And they sold out the rooms completely for this year's G-Fest like a month ago, and just overrun the whole place. It's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Have there ever been any urban gangs and youths who have gotten confused and come to G-Fest?
Yeah, they had to turn away a couple posses at the door. Gold chain.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
What a question. What a question.
Gosh.
But everyone's welcome at G-Fest. So
okay, good.
We won them over.
They were confused at first, but after a while.
It was all good.
All right, we got no letters this week. Disappointing. Once again, our fan base has disappointed us.
This is the new segment where Seth just batters our fans for not sending letters in.
So instead, we're going to move on to What's Up with Paul, which is the segment where Paul tells us about stuff we don't care about.
Right. longest intro music ever, guys. The longest. This is What's Up with Paul. It's where Paul, myself, who I not often but occasionally refer to in the third person, says what's up and tells you what's up.
Wow.
This week we're not going to talk about those rubber eyeballs that they're giving away at the original scene.
Special guest host, Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Sorry, Paul.
I'd probably be
didn't
more
mean to
interested
derail.
in what he had to say than.
I'm completely used. I'm used to this now, guys. I mean, we've been doing this long enough. I know the drill. This is actually the Guys Troll Paul segment. That's what this is called. All right, so let's talk about some things that's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
First thing I want to talk about personally, and since this is my segment, you've got to follow suit. Seth, I'm looking at you.
Huh?
The CW released a 5-minute trailer for The Flash. First, they released that teaser with the Arrow season finale, which was cool in and of itself. But then they proceeded to release a 5-minute. I don't know. It's not really a trailer. It's more like a pitch for a TV show. It's a summary of the pilot. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Who did you guys see this?
I watched it.
I know Alan watched it.
It was fun times.
Seth, did you see it?
I saw it. I thought it was awkwardly long. It was weirdly cut, and it may have shown off stuff that actually managed to make me less excited for it.
Oh.
The Weather Wizard, the guy playing Weather Wizard, annoyed me almost instantly, and also some of the effects for Flash running looked very reminiscent of the 90s classic show, The Flash, that had Mark Hamill as the trickster.
Iconic Mark Hamill.
Iconic
Did you
Mark
watch
Hamill.
it, Ethan?
Yes, I did. It was lengthy, and what Seth said, those overhead shots where it shows him running on the street and you just see a yellow line, kind of like Pac-Man.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. No, that's what I was going to say, like cheesy.
Oh, you're an idiot.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm just kidding.
Here we go.
All right.
Here we go.
Just kidding.
It's a breed-love brawl.
Seth's like, that's my favorite part.
Loved it.
Yeah, I didn't care for that. Like, it does interest me, makes the show look better. It looks almost exactly like Arrow in the tone and color scheme and acting and characters that they have.
I think the acting's going to be similar, but I don't think it looks tonally similar at all. It looks way more comic booky.
I would agree with that, and it also seems to have more humor.
Mark, have you seen the Flash trailer?
No, I have not.
Okay. Do you know who the Flash is?
Yeah.
Okay, Mark, who would win in a fight, Godzilla or the Flash?
Well, why don't we just ask Mr. Godzilla? Mr. Godzilla, if you were to fight the
Mr. G. You didn't finish your question. I was all primed and ready.
If you were to fight the Flash, would you win?
Oh,
He's not answering.
I forgot to hit the volume. I ruined it. The entire bit fell apart.
Yeah.
It fell apart halfway through when we decided not to do it, and then you reminded us to do it.
Mr. Godzilla, I think your mic is off. You might want to check that.
That's weird. Godzilla sounds just like a younger Robin Williams.
We have officially descended into Saturday morning disc jockeys.
A less coke-addled Robin Williams.
Oh my goodness.
Or more. It depends.
It's amazing. How did we get here? I'm talking about the Flash trailer. I have no idea how you guys managed to take these things so far off the rails.
It's Mark's fault.
So little.
I'm blaming Mark.
I loved this Flash trailer. I mean, I didn't really have high expectations for the effects. It's a CW TV show. And I thought they looked good. And, you know, I'd say if the show gets a second season, they'll probably look better as it goes along because they'll get more money to spend. It was long.
I still, it bothers me still to this day that this is what we're getting instead of a Flash movie.
Yeah, but you just gotta deal with that.
Okay, no, I don't.
Well, I mean, if you want to be able to enjoy the show, you've got to come to terms with that.
And maybe this will spark interest and bring it. Yeah.
Maybe he'll end up in the Justice League movie when it comes.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there's a new sounder here that's running along with. Hold on.
Oh,
you have failed this city.
Okay, there we go.
Beautiful.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's an Arrow quote, guys.
I liked seeing Arrow in the preview, and
Yeah,
their
me too.
interaction seemed funny.
Yeah, that kind of excites me too. The prospect of crossing over to the shows and things like that if it's done well.
Mark,
And it's been-
who would win in a fight?
Oh.
Arrow or Godzilla?
I'd take Godzilla.
Yeah, Godzilla.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure, but okay.
Yeah, it would be Godzilla. Godzilla.
Who do you
would win.
think has killed more people, Godzilla or Arrow?
That's Arrow.
That's got
It's
to be Arrow.
Godzilla. Let's get real, people. Seriously.
I don't know. He's got a lot of henchmen. that he
Paul,
kills.
did you
I mean,
just
it's
call
close.
Godzilla Godzillo?
No.
I think you
didn't.
did. I think you did.
That's how
He's
Paul
like a
did.
snow globe.
Maybe he and the Arrow are going to combine into one and become Godzilla.
Maybe Godzilla will have a saddle, and Arrow will ride him.
You know what all our listeners wanted is to hear us sit here and crack awful jokes about CW DC shows.
I got it. From now on, this segment is called Off the Rails because that's all this segment does. Is
That's
takes
the
us off
entire
rails.
show, though.
That's true.
Right, but it all starts here. Did you guys see the Arrow finale?
I did.
Don't spoil it. I have not seen
Okay,
it.
so you haven't seen it. Well, we're not
I'm
going to talk
watching
about
it
that.
tonight.
Why don't you tell us about that new Transformers trailer?
Oh,
I know you want to.
yes. So I think I had talked about how the first Transformers trailer for Age of Extinction.
Yeah, Age of Extinction. The Transformers trailer for Age of Extinction.
It kind of let me. I said the word extinction entirely through my nose.
Yes.
Like the entire word came out of my nose.
Right, and
Anyway.
boogers.
So, when I saw the first trailer, I was like, well, it looks okay, but it's a little disappointing. This trailer rectified all that because now we got some awesome shots of the T-Rex robot dinosaur. What are they called? The
Dinobots.
Dinobots. Yeah, the Dinobot running around town, and he's breathing fire. And Optimus Prime is riding on his back with a giant sword. And
Yes.
that was really neat. And then there are some really cool Michael Bay shots of people running away from stuff in slow-mo. There
Did you say
were
cool.
cool, yeah. And there were some sweet Michael Bay shots, like looking up, kind of an upward angle with the camera tilted upward, and beautiful lighting. And
What is happening?
I don't know.
Listen, Michael Bay movies are gorgeous. I don't care what Ethan has to say about anything.
Anything ever.
The
Ever.
Michael Bay movies all look gorgeous.
I like Michael Bay.
I like Michael Bay. Mark, Michael Bay.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, goodness. Michael Bay for Godzilla 2.
Oh,
No.
oh. Ah. What
You
about
just see
what ab-
Godzilla's crotch, and you wouldn't be able to see anything happening around it.
quick cuts of just Godzilla's crotch
It's not a Joel Schumacher.
with stuff
Godzilla.
exploding?
Yes.
I would love to see some sort of Godzilla Transformers crossover directed by Michael Bay. It'll never happen
No,
because they're
that'll
different
never happen.
studios.
Right.
But
Maybe they could throw in G.I. Joe and My Little Pony, too.
am I the only one excited about Age of Extinction?
I'm excited.
Somewhat. maybe. I'll be excited when I go to the theater.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I am about all movies, though. Right now, I feel like, except for Captain America, I was amped for that.
That's kind of the way I was. I actually was pretty excited about Captain America, and then it blew me away.
Yeah,
Boom.
I was excited for Godzilla as well.
I was really excited for Godzilla.
Really?
And I got more excited the night before
That was sarcasm.
because we watched shut your face because we watched Monsters the night before, which is Gareth Edwards' first movie, I think. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the budget for that was extremely small.
Yeah. Has anyone else seen Monsters?
I haven't.
Incorporated?
No.
I've not seen it.
Classic Alan.
I'm gonna watch it though.
I've seen it. I really liked Halle Berry in it, and
No.
what she did with what?
Please stop.
Billy Bob Thornton.
No. Stop.
Different movie.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about something else. Did we all see the reveal for the new Batfleck and the Batmobile?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mark, did you get a chance to see that?
Yeah. Yeah,
What'd you
actually I
think?
did. Well, I liked it. It's pretty classic looking to me. More of sort of the muted approach to Batman. So, yeah, it's cool.
I want a really clear shot of the Batmobile. I couldn't quite tell what it looks like.
Have you seen the product designs people are saying is the design for the Batmobile? Have you seen that?
I am looking it up right now.
I am looking at a text message I just got from someone.
Ethan, one of you guys look it up and text it to us, because I saw what it was. It was a little like 3D model that someone had released a picture of. I can't remember what website I saw it on. One of the sites I go through.
We got a retroactive letter here.
Oh no.
That we will. Let me get through this, and then we'll throw that in. If it's that,
Hi,
design,
guys. I love
it's
you.
Weird. It's really weird. It doesn't have wheels.
No
It's
wheels.
like hovering.
What?
Like a
It's
Mario
not
Kart.
symmetrical at all. Like this little thing they had. It looked like something out of
No,
Star Wars.
that's not it, because there was the shot he tweeted the day before had wheels.
Yes, it did. So, but the weird thing about it is, like from the middle section all the way back, it looks exactly like what we see in that picture with Batfleck. But I don't think that's it.
Quit. We're not going to start calling him Batfleck on this
I'm
show.
sorry. I apologize for that. Well, I don't mean that in a bad way.
I know you don't. I
it's just an
cannot
easy
go
way.
down that road. We cannot,
Okay.
as
Oh.
ancillary characters, we cannot go down that road.
Moratorium on the Batfleck.
I do want to say I really
no,
like
what
the costume.
Paul is referring to here. I think the picture you saw. I'm looking at it right now. I'm pretty sure that's just them building it, and it's not the built.
It doesn't look finished, does it?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
the wheels
that's-
aren't on it yet.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looked like to me. But even if that's the Batmobile without the wheels on it, it looks weird, doesn't it?
It looks like a Corvette. Like it's
Oh.
very slender, like an arrowhead.
Yeah, it looks like an.
There's
arrow.
no body to it.
It's strange looking, but I like the costume. I like that they went like the fat bat symbol from basically the Dark Knight Returns.
The short
Small
ears. Yeah.
I love the short ears. I think it looks great. Like
Yeah.
in terms of those two very distinguishable points of the suit. I love that.
I don't know if anyone cares what I think, because I haven't been asked. But
So far, basically, Mark and I are the only two that have talked
Ethan,
about it, so-
Ethan,
Yeah.
Go
Ethan.
ahead, Seth, please.
Ethan, you are
Ethan.
breathing. Ethan, you're breathing directly
Into
into
the
the
mic.
song, into the mic.
Before we get started, I want to point out, just so you all know, Ethan, you're making noises in the mic. Sorry.
Now it's everybody else's turn to.
Am I allowed to issue my opinion?
I'm waiting for it.
I thought it was awesome.
Thank you.
That's your
yeah.
opinion.
That's it. Yeah. I'm gonna wait to read this letter until we get to the Godzilla segment.
Alan?
I really liked it. I liked that it was similar to the Dark Knight Returns, as you mentioned. I liked that it was, he looked not quite sad, but not quite intense either, He looked like that. You know that picture of Keanu Reeves where he's sitting on a bench holding a sandwich? Kind of looked like that.
Is that a thing?
Is that a? I'm sure this is an internet.
He's not eating. Oh yeah, he is eating a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A sad Keanu. That's kind of how it looked.
What?
No, I thought that was one of him feeding the birds.
I need to see this. Someone send me a picture.
Everybody
You never
just Google sad
sad-
Keanu right
yeah.
now. I mean,
I can't believe y'all
Let's
never
take a
seen
moment.
that.
did
Speaking
you guys
of
get the
sad,
Batmobile picture?
speaking of sad Keanu, did you guys see the sad Batman that someone made?
Yeah.
They took the picture of Ben Affleck as Batman and put him like in an Arby's line, and he looked depressed. And they put him on it was either Space Mountain or the
Oh, I've got to see this too later.
the log ride at Disney World, whatever that one's called.
All right.
Yeah.
Just one or two quick things, and then we'll move on. Well, maybe just one quick thing. Have you guys heard of the Humble Bundle?
I haven't.
I have.
You're a liar,
I
Alan.
know.
You have so
I have.
heard of it. I don't mean that you're a liar. I'm sorry, that was too harsh. Seth's rubbing off on me, talking about punching people in the face and telling people they're stupid.
Only true.
Whoa.
I never
Oh,
lie.
I'm sorry.
I don't do that stuff.
Except just now, I said I'd never lie.
The Humble Bundle is it's essentially an internet bundle that a group has put together, and it's typically video games, and they do audio books, and they do a lot of different things. And they'll put together a bundle of games or movies, whatever the theme is, that you can pay what you want for. You choose your own price to receive a bundle of items. I've done it in the past for like indie video games and things like that. And you can get, say, in an instance of video games, probably 10 games for anywhere from 50 cents to $15 to $100, depending on what you want to pay. You choose your own. And there'll be like perks, like you'll get certain games you can only get if you pay above the average, which might be $10, etc. They've recently begun doing comic book Humble Bundles. They did one not too long ago with image books. Did you guys get in on that, anybody?
I didn't, but I saw it.
Yeah, I didn't do it either because I've already got some of those books. But currently, they're doing a IDW Doctor Who comic Humble Bundle, and it's like what 60-something issues, more than that.
Yeah, it's over 60 issues. It has Series 1, Volumes 1, 2, and 3, Series 2, Volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4, and if you pay above the average, which is currently $10.97, Series 3, Volume 1, 2, 3, and 4. And
Right.
that's the comics covering David Tennant and Matt Smith.
Yeah, and I think if you pay $15 or more, then you get some extra stuff, which is the Doctor Who IDW special from the 50th anniversary and
Amazing
the
book.
Prisoners of Time series, which we actually read and reviewed with Don and Mike on Echo Rift.
Yeah. And
last
it
year.
says more coming soon.
Yeah, so 60 comics for $10 to $15 is an insanely good deal.
And it's not through Comixology, so
Right.
you can't read it in Comixology with the guided view and stuff, but it
Yeah.
does give you the PDFs or the EPUB, so you can read it in like the Kindle app or iBooks or something like that. And for people who are, they like to own their comics, this is
Purists.
legitimate. You've got the actual files on your computer, and if you accidentally delete them or something, you can always re-download them from Humble Bundle. But
Yeah.
it's just an amazing deal. I paid $25 and got them all, and I was really happy with that. And a lot of the money goes to charity.
Yeah,
can
can't
split-
you, that's what I was going to say, can't you manually decide how much goes to like the Humble Bundle, how much goes to a charity, and how much goes to like I guess it would be the authors in this case?
Yeah, I normally do the default spread, but some of it goes to the creators, some of it goes to the charities, and you can even decide which charity. And some of it goes to the Humble Bundle, so it's really neat. And they usually make a killing on these things, in spite of
Oh,
pay
yeah.
what you want. Some people pay way more, and then most people will pay like the average was $10 and some change. So most
Right.
people pay $10 and some change.
Right.
And some people
So I mean,
pay
it's a
50
great
cents.
deal. If you're interested in Doctor Who, and maybe you haven't read the comics, this is a great way to get on board with that.
Yeah, I can attest that at least the Prisoners of Time and the Doctor Who special alone are worth this price, because if you bought them separate, you'd be paying probably
A lot.
$100.
Oh yeah, those Prisoners of Time books. There's what 12 or 13 issues,
Yeah, there's 12 issues and
$4 a piece.
$4 a piece.
Or the hardcovers. There's 3 volumes of the hardcover in there.
Yeah, well, what you're getting is the volumes.
Right.
But you're getting the digital version of the volumes.
Yeah.
And then just the Doctor Who special is like, what, $8 or $10?
Yeah, I was thinking it was like $7.99. So
Okay, yeah.
it's a great deal.
Good segment, Paul. Good job.
We love you, Paul.
Move
Love
on,
you.
Seth.
Love you, buddy.
Hi, and welcome to Take It or Leave It, the part of the show where we take things, we leave things, and just generally review things. So we've kind of gotten away from the whole taking and leaving. We just tell you what we think about things.
Yeah.
And this time we will be talking about Godzilla. I can't say it quite right, but Godzilla, for those not in the know, starring Bryan Cranston and 3 or 4 other people and a giant lizard.
Well said.
So yeah. So should I summarize? You going to read the letter first? How are we doing this?
Yeah, let me just read the letter. It's very long. It's very important. It was from Josiah Martin, letter writer. He just says, "Hi, guys." All right, here we go. I love you guys. I mean, I really love you guys. And then he goes on to say, which is better, Godzilla or Mom's Night Out? That's all. That's all he said.
Oh goodness, that was a well set up troll there.
I've never
I have to admit.
seen Mom's Night Out, but it sounds incredible.
Is
Is that like the sequel to Baby's Night Out, or that's Baby's Day Out, isn't it?
I don't even know what Baby's Day Out
That
is.
old
like a-
movie from like the
Is that
90s.
like a Tyler Perry movie? Or?
Tyler
No.
Perry.
Tyler
Tyler
Perry.
Perry. It's that new movie. Isn't this a movie that's currently in theaters? Mom's
It
Night
is.
Out?
Maybe he's just referring to your wife
wait,
going
isn't-
out for the night.
That's that movie with Sean Astin, isn't it?
Is he the mom?
Are you talking
What is
about Revenge
happening?
of the Babysitter? Is that what you're referring to here,
No,
Paul?
no, I don't.
Okay,
Godzilla.
Alan, why don't you summarize Godzilla for us?
We think Godzilla's better, just for the.
I
Godzilla's
can't say
better.
that. I've never seen Mom's Night Out. I'm not going to make that statement.
Godzilla's
Yes.
better.
Same here.
We love you too, Josiah.
Yes, much love. So, Godzilla. Back in 1999, some miners, as in people who look for rocks, not
Young
people
people?
under 18.
Minus, not minus.
Exactly. They are digging, and they find radiation, and there's this giant skeleton, and something comes out of there. And it goes to this nuclear plant in Japan and starts eating it. And then the plant shuts down, and Bryan Cranston loses his wife and is disgraced. Years later, Bryan Cranston's character, whose name I cannot remember, has become Seth Breedlove. He knows
Right.
there's the truth is out there, and
Right.
he is going to find it. But his son, a military man, thinks he's crazy, as does everyone else. But they go to the site of the nuclear meltdown and find there's no radiation. And also there is a monster, and it gets loose and rampages. Then Godzilla comes and rampages, and they fight, and the military gets involved, and there's nuclear missiles flying everywhere, and there's a big battle, and there's soldiers. Godzilla.
Wow, that was some summary. Let's start with Mark, because he's our Godzilla expert. So I want to know what a Godzilla expert thinks of the new Gareth Edwards Godzilla.
Well, this self-proclaimed expert, I loved the film. I really did. I think it's probably the best Western-made Godzilla film you're ever going to see. And the reason for that is, I think, Gareth Edwards clearly has an affinity for Godzilla as a character. I think that comes through in the fact that he is heroic in the end. And also, I really like the way that just the whole film looks and feels. And you referenced his earlier film, Monsters. I think you'll understand Godzilla this film a lot better if people go back and watch Monsters first, because in some respects Godzilla is Monsters with a huge budget. I mean, you change a few plot points and characters, but you have, you know, the arc of the person who's trying to get home, and the quarantine zone,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and some very similar elements to the story. But, you know, I think the picture is going to be a huge success, if for no other reason than all the kids that I see coming out of this film are like hyped up, saying Godzilla is awesome, you know, and I think that they're going to go and hopefully check some of the older movies, or just be, you know, real supporters of the genre from this point out. So I think it's a success on a number of levels. But just as a film itself, I really enjoyed it.
I like we started talking about earlier. Yeah, if anyone has not seen Monsters, I really recommend it because it's very good. I can already tell that Alan, Paul, and Ethan are sending texts, and their minds
I'm
are on
listening.
other things
No, that's not true.
because they're sending picture texts that they find hilarious. This
That's not
happens
true. Well,
every.
okay,
we're
that-
gonna put
that
we're gonna
is
put a
true.
moratorium on any texting during the show from now on.
It was show business. Someone wants
It
a
was.
shout out from
Yes,
us.
yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
What are you talking about? Tell me right now. Oh, I just saw. Never mind.
Shout out to John Tuck.
Why do we have to do shout outs on the show?
I don't know.
It's a trend we started, and we can't get away from it.
We can get away from it. We just stop.
Okay. No more
Mark,
shout-outs.
I have a question for Mark. Mark,
Yeah.
did you find it funny that Bryan Cranston got top billing and he was in all the previews as being a prevalent character? And spoiler alert.
Yeah, this is a
if you have
spoiler.
not seen the movie, go ahead and shut it down for a few minutes. But he dies. Probably 15 minutes into the movie.
That's
having
longer than
hardly-
that, but yes.
It's a little longer.
He only has
Right.
about 15 minutes of total screen time then.
Exactly.
I should
It
say.
shocked me.
Yeah, I was surprised. I really was. Because nothing in anything that I saw that was leaked or in any trailer gave you the impression that his character was going to be gone. In fact,
No.
there's a moment where that was sort of exciting, I thought, where the Dr. Serizawa says, "I want them on
Yeah.
my team," meaning
Right.
Brody and Son, and then he dies on the helicopter ride. So I was pretty surprised by that.
Yeah.
Because he was, at that point, the emotional center of the film for me. And
Right.
I thought he could have carried it farther.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I felt like I was supposed to identify with him, and then it switched. Well, I mean, it was kind of pointing you to follow the son rather than the father, but just the way the movie started, I felt like I was supposed to be following the father, and then they took him away from us.
Yeah.
I do have to say, though, that Ken Watanabe was a show stealer again. I love that guy in anything he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think from a real Godzilla geeky perspective, it was really cool for me that the first line of dialogue in the movie was the name Dr. Serizawa, because there was a Dr. Serizawa in the original, and he actually invented the oxygen destroyer that takes out the original Godzilla. So for him to be named that character, and for that to be the first line of dialogue in the film, I don't know if anybody noticed or even cared one way or the other, but I thought that was a nice tip of the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea, but I've been reading online, and there's a lot of little Easter eggs in the movie. I
Yes.
read one article where, you know, at the beginning, the opening credits where they redact all the text.
Yeah, yeah.
I found an article where somebody like went frame by frame. Somebody works at a theater and figured out all the text, and it's really funny, clever stuff. Like it talks about the Illuminati. It talks about Godzilla and other monsters and stuff that they've hidden, and it's hilarious, but it's also like kind of gives some background to the film.
Yeah.
There is a ton of stuff they set up that would pay off if they can take this into like a long-term franchise. I thought I loved the mythology that is behind it, and
I agree.
there was a line, and I'm not sure if it was a direct line or if I ended up making up the line myself. But was there at some point a line where someone said that Godzilla basically balances the scales?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I loved. I kept like saying that to myself over and over in the theater. And you're waiting. The way they pay that off, where he's heading towards the mainland and you're following him along. I mean, the way that builds, you're just waiting for him to get to the mainland and for the brawl to break out.
Yeah, exactly.
And like you said, the way he ends up being basically a superhero in this movie, I mean, he really is. And that's my wife asked me afterwards. She was like, "Is he always like the good guy?" And I was like, I've seen a few of the Japanese ones. I haven't seen probably as many as Mark, which is probably all, I'm going to assume.
Correct.
But I've seen the first one, and I've seen probably 4 or 5 of the others. And I do know that a lot of times he was saving the Earth from being utterly destroyed by some crazy giant robot or a giant moth or whatever giant of the week they had going on there.
Yeah.
So I loved that way that played out.
Giant basketball
and
player.
interesting thing is that Godzilla fandom is kind of divided on the film right now in the Facebook chats and stuff that I'm seeing, because there is a segment that would like to see Godzilla just be like the avenging angel of death and just destroy everything and burn every city and then fade to black. Godzilla has paid back humanity, the end. And they're really disappointed that this movie is not that. They're upset. But I think the way that they did it was just right, because you're right, and Godzilla has lasted as long as he has because he's gone from villain to child's hero and then all the way back, depending on the movie that you see.
Yeah.
So you can just lay on him whatever you want, and it works. And sometimes he saves the world just because he's fighting this other monster. He really doesn't care one way or the other about humanity. But just the fact that he's aggressive. And in this movie, they call him the alpha predator, of prehistory. And so in one sense, he's just doing what comes naturally, but there does seem to be some type of, protective quality to him also.
Well, I don't know that he ever even really... I was trying to think, I mean, is there any moment in the movie where he does anything that could be construed as, like, purposely destructive? Like, he doesn't even sink any of the ships. He basically, like, makes this effort to go under them or over, or, like, around them. I mean, the only thing that I can think of where he does any massive destruction is when he walks through the Golden Gate Bridge. But I mean, at that point, he's being fired at by everyone, and he's
And then I think in that scene, they even take pains to show him inadvertently saving that bus full of children, by coming up at just the right time. And once again, it's probably purely unintentional, but that's how he functions. I think you're right. There's nothing sinister. The Muto, on the other hand, comes up and instantly starts squashing people.
Yeah.
So those are clearly the villain, and Godzilla's clearly the hero.
So, are those characters, have they been in any prior Godzilla stuff?
No, they have not. I mean, they are new, designed just for this film. Although they bear some resemblance to some creatures that were in the 1999 Gamera film. And it's even the way they sound and the way that they look, there's some resemblance. I don't think that it was intentional necessarily, but they are new to the Godzilla canon, just for this movie.
I wasn't actually pleased with... I was really pleased with Godzilla's design and everything about him. His scream, his fire, just the way he would walk through things. Like, people would be shooting and he wouldn't shrug. He would just keep going.
Yeah.
So they got a lot of that right. They got a lot of him being beat up right. The stuff I didn't like was the Muto. I thought they looked exactly like the J.J. Abrams movie.
Cloverfield. Yeah.
They did look similar.
It was like the same design person he even had the same claw.
I thought they looked. I thought they looked cool.
I thought their faces looked cool, like the hammerhead looked, but I thought their bodies were kind of weird.
Yeah, they almost had an insect type quality to them.
Yeah.
Especially with like the noises they made and just the way their whole bodies were shaped, and they didn't look natural. They didn't look terrestrial. I almost thought they looked alien because it's like they had their shell or their bodies or whatever were so slick and almost reflective that to me at first I wondered if they weren't alien. Like they didn't look. Godzilla looks like he's from planet Earth.
Yeah.
He looks like what we would imagine a gigantic dinosaur essentially would look like. He's got that look we're used to, whereas the Mutos looked, totally like otherworldly, which I was okay with that. I was fine with that, but they definitely looked strange. It took some getting used to. I wasn't really sure what I was looking at first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the way their faces was shaped kind of reminded me of the alien from the movie Alien.
Yeah.
I liked that they were so different because it made it made the dichotomy between them and Godzilla so much clearer.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
they were like just, hideous to me. Like especially the way their claws kind of curled at the bottom, and they were stomping people with that. Like that just it reminded me of spider legs, and it was just
Not in a good way.
Does anything?
There's no good way.
There is no good way. But I agree. They definitely made me think of spiders in the sense they had so many legs, and it was just. And I'll tell you what, the whole egg sac thing was gross and creepy.
It was gross. It was
think
also
of,
sad, though. It was also sad when the
It was a little
babies got
sad.
destroyed and they went running back across the city. That's something that Gareth Edwards did really well in Monsters, too, which I keep bringing up, but you guys really need to see it, because there's some stuff very similar to that at the end of Monsters. And the second you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. It'll remind you almost instantly of what happened in Godzilla. Mark probably knows what I'm talking about. The monsters basically making love, making.
Oh, no.
They kind of did that in this. They were they were smooching while holding a nuke.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, it was weird watching them chew on nukes.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
And
Well, and in a weird way, I read somebody had a short review on Facebook, and they said that they thought the whole film was about family, and then, including the Mutos. And
Oh, yeah.
that's just what you're talking about. I mean, up until that point, there's really no sympathy for these things.
yeah.
And then they do that, and they react in this way towards their offspring, and all of a sudden, there's a sympathetic edge to these things, and it's like, now what do I do? How much can I root against them? But
Yeah.
it's Godzilla, so
yeah,
you root for him. But it was interesting. I can honestly say I did not expect that part of it to come out. Where all of a sudden these creatures have a somewhat sympathetic quality. It surprised me.
Which it was going quick.
Yeah.
Because they really turned on the ire and the destruction after that. That was what broke the barrier there that was holding it back. And it got the whole, I'll say this, the climactic sequences, the fight between Godzilla and the Mutos, it's like Seth was saying earlier, they built up to it throughout their whole film. My buddy was with me, and he kept saying, come on, I want to see them fight, because they would be fighting, and you'd see just glimpses. Or you'd see it on the TV in the background. You know, there's always something in the way. You see you see Godzilla's legs and all this stuff, but you never get that payoff until you do. And the risk in that is that the fight isn't as good as it needs to be in the end, but it was.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There were some high five, fist in the air moments at the end of this movie.
Yeah,
absolutely. It was very, very well done.
Yeah, and another thing about the fights that I really liked, and I know you guys, you talked about Pacific Rim in one of your episodes, and I love that movie as well. But the thing that set Godzilla apart, I thought, is that you could really see more of the fight in Godzilla, where in Pacific Rim there were a lot of fast cuts and real dark nighttime fights and close-ups, and a lot of time in Pacific Rim I was sitting there saying, this is awesome, but what am I looking at? But in the Godzilla fights, you could really see everything.
You know what?
Were
What
long
it-
and
Sorry, what I thought it was is that the perspectives are completely different because in
Yeah.
Godzilla everything you're seeing is from it tends to be from the perspective of the people on the ground, I think.
yeah.
And you're getting to see them, and they're usually the best the best example of that is the scene where the main guy, what's his name?
Brody? Joe
Brody.
Or no,
Brody.
Ford.
Ford.
Brody.
Ford Brody, where Ford is running through the city and it's super dark, and he sees Godzilla going, like he sees his shadow on that one building, and I loved all that because we're seeing that from his perspective. It's not some crazy, like, pulled way back and watching it. Whereas with Pacific Rim, we are typically seeing those battles from the view of the guys in the robots. And even if it isn't directly from their point of view, it's still going to be at about that same level. So you're almost in the middle of the fight, whereas this is more human. It's on the ground. You're seeing all that.
Yeah.
They're just it's completely different styles of filmmaking on each of them. I got to admit, I think I'm more of a Pacific Rim guy because the idea of giant robots actually punching the monsters is fantastic for me. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had a question about that for you guys. Like, I enjoyed the filmmaking, but I at the same time, I thought for a monster movie is the strangest way to go, where they would have like a lot of those art movie scenes where there'd be no talking, no sound, and you would just see an image going by in slow motion, or or like a shadow or something like that. And even in the fight scenes, there was a few of those type of scenes, and I thought it was just such a unique way for a monster movie to be. Like, you just expect a monster to just be screaming and killing and people running and yelling, but there was a lot of scenes where it was just silent or white noise or background noise, and you would just get like this weird payoff. What did you guys think of those?
Yeah, I love that. Like, there were some parts of this movie that were just beautiful. Like, not just beautiful in a visual effects stunning way, but like a painting, like a art, like you were saying. And especially, like, there's the one scene where Brody is kind of by himself in the city, and he sees Godzilla, and Godzilla just kind of looks at him.
Yeah.
For some reason, that scene, just that image just stuck in my head. Like, I want to freeze frame this and put it on my wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the soldiers doing the halo jump into the city, that was just stunning.
Man.
And when you saw that one point where the wife, whose name I can't remember either, was looking up and she saw somebody paratrooping down.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's going on? Then a plane hit the building, and then planes just dropping. It was like,
Yeah, it was insane.
You felt the danger and the level of panic that was going on right there.
Yeah, and that reminds me, the whole EMP aspect of the Mutos was really clever.
yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked that, and how that it was there. They absorbed that radiation, and it gave them the ability to do that, and it made sense, and it made for some really, really interesting parts of the films. Like, how do you fight this when we can't use our electronics? So that's another aspect I really liked out of it. I was expecting Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver to show up. I mean, to really do some damage. Since they're in the whole movie, and also it's weird watching them make out.
Yeah.
Knowing that they're going to be brother and sister in the second Avengers film.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a little weird.
Adrian leaned over to me halfway through and was like, "This is like watching Princess Leia kissing Luke all over again."
Don't they do that in the Ultimates though?
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen. Please.
Mark, in the pantheon of Godzilla movies, like stacked up against even the Eastern ones, which where does this stack up? Do you think? You've seen it 3 times, by the way.
I've seen it 3 times. Well, wow. I can tell you. I hope I'm quoting him correctly, but my son, who's 11, he said that this is his favorite Godzilla movie. And I think that's going to be true for a lot of kids who see it. I mean, personally, it would be in my top 10. There are maybe even top 5 right now. I'm pretty high on it. I think time will tell. But nothing for me can replace the original.
Yeah.
And the original is a whole different animal with the whole subtext and the story that only can be told from the Japanese perspective.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's other ones. If you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to check out Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. That's actually the entire title of the film. It came out in 2001, and it really messes with the Godzilla continuum, where it does cast Godzilla as a pure villain. And in the mythology of that particular movie, he's the embodiment of the Japanese war dead in the Pacific.
Whoa.
So he has come to punish Japan for what they did in the war.
Oh, wow.
And so there's guardian monsters that rise up to do battle with him. That's an awesome movie. That's probably my second favorite Godzilla movie.
Wow.
But to answer your question, I think this is probably top 5 because it's so unique in that it's the Western Godzilla film that gets it right. And it sort of balances the scales on Godzilla 98. Everybody can now move past Matthew Broderick and all that stuff.
Man, that was a great movie. We all agree, obviously, the Roland Emmerich, Dean Devlin, Godzilla, probably top 5 for me all time.
The basketball
movie.
scene.
The scenes,
with the Raptors
the scenes
slipping.
in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
The Puff Daddy music video.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Well, and the Siskel and Ebert guys. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. Classic film.
Yeah.
So you said though that like Godzilla fans are kind of torn on this one, huh?
They are, and I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, I think some of them, like I said, want Godzilla simply to be either the force of nature that takes out humanity or has some vengeance against it, and just they would like to see the R-rated, bloodletting Godzilla, and they didn't get that with this. I don't think they ever will. Some of them are kind of nitpicking too, just on saying, I mean, the main thing right now that I'm hearing is there was not enough monster action. What I like was you get little bits, and like you said, it builds up to this big crescendo battle at the end. But I think some would rather just see, an hour of plot and an hour of fighting. And that would be their idea of the ultimate Godzilla. But by the same token, there's a lot of people who are really, really satisfied with it and really like it. So
Yeah.
I don't think you'd ever score 100%
No.
with Godzilla fans. It's just not going to happen.
So it's like comic book fans.
Yeah, fans of any genre.
Yeah.
Alan, what did you think overall?
I love this movie. I mean, I've not really seen any other Godzilla movies. I saw part of one a long time ago, but I don't know which one it was. So I don't have any of that back history to compare it to. But I went into this theater pretty pumped, and it delivered. Like, it was a 2-hour long movie, which is pretty long, but it didn't feel like it. It was just, it held my interest very well. Everything on screen was beautiful, and it just had the perfect pace. I loved it. I want to watch it again.
Ethan?
I'll actually be devil's advocate. I enjoyed the movie a lot, and there's a lot of things that I liked about it that I stated already, with like the art direction and like Ken Watanabe and am I pronouncing his name right? Is it Watanabe?
Watanabe?
Watanabe? Okay. And Godzilla especially. There were like things that I thought detracted from it, and when I left the theater, I was like, well, that was a summer movie, and I can automatically put it out of my memory. and like summer movies are like really good because they immerse you and you have fun and you laugh and then you leave. And it's pretty much like a one-off. And like they tried to make me identify with the characters too much, I thought. And I can appreciate that it wasn't just a straight monster movie, that they were actually trying to like humanize the story, but at the same time, like I was just happy to see the monsters. So.
I'm going to go after Ethan because I got to say something just to counteract that last statement. I understand a lot of people are going to have that same problem with it, but I actually thought the fact that they focused, not that there wasn't a focus on the monsters, but the fact that there was such a focus on the human characters, and then when the monsters came on screen, it added an impact to their presence that I don't think you would have had if the entire movie was just monsters stomping around and fighting, and
well,
it was.
I liked the main character, like Ford and the doctor and Cranston. I thought they just added too long of a story or too much of a focus to Ford and the generals that were planning.
I thought the stuff with the other characters is fine. I agree with some of what you're saying in that there probably could have been a little more monster action in the movie. If I was going to go back and do it, I probably would have put more
I'm not even big
Godzilla earlier in the movie or something.
I thought the amount of action was fine. I just thought that there was too much focus on,
Yeah, but I mean, it's only a 2-hour movie. It's not a long movie. It's only 123 minutes. So, I mean, for a summer blockbuster, I thought it was relatively short.
Yeah.
And I thought for 2 hours, you got a lot of stuff going on there crammed into the movie. I did have issues with it, but to be honest, they weren't issues that would detract all that much from my overall enjoyment of the movie.
Right.
I thought the lead character was a little dull. Bryan Cranston was actually the guy I was really digging, and so I was actually really disappointed when he died.
I understood why they killed him, though. Like, it would be harder to tell the story of him following the dinosaur rather than his son, I think.
I don't know. I thought there was so much in it that I loved, though. I loved the way Ford was just like, I'm gonna go fight these things to save my family. Like, I loved his gung ho, like jumping in. And I know he was trying to get back to his family too, but he was so eager to get out there and save, help save the world and save his family. But really, at the end of the day, Godzilla's the one who's coming to save everyone. So, I thought that was awesome. I thought the way that played out was really cool. Paul, final thoughts?
I agree. I wish Bryan Cranston had stuck around longer. But aside from that, I loved the movie. I thought it was everything it needed to be. I had pretty high expectations based on essentially nothing but the trailers. I mean, I've seen a number of Godzilla movies over the years, but I've never really considered myself a huge fan. But, I mean, I'm a fan in the sense that as soon as I heard they were making one, I was interested in seeing it. But the trailers really built this movie up. The marketing campaign was very, very good. And I feel like they nailed it. I really enjoyed it.
Mark, final thoughts on this?
Well, I think something Alan said was kind of the way I felt about it, too. I thought there were some really beautiful shots in this film that the images will stay with you for a while. I mean, I could list a number of them right now. I mean, the one that comes to mind is when the Halo jump scene is starting, and the transport plane is kind of skimming the top of the clouds, and you know that they're getting ready to do this. There's just some real moments of awe and wonder all throughout this movie, which is not easy to do anymore, really. I mean, you think of how jaded audiences are, everything that they've seen on screen. And there are moments in this film where, especially the first time I saw it, I was just really stunned. Like, wow, look at the size of that creature. Or, just those type of moments that you hope are present in a film like this. They were there. So I'm excited about it. I really, like I said before, I think this is going to kickstart a generation of Godzilla fans. I hope that's the case. And the way the box office is trending right now, it seems like a sequel is inevitable. And I hope that's true, because I would like to see some potential crossovers happen, or just other creatures that they invent. But and Paul said that the trailers did a good job. I agree with that too, wholeheartedly, without revealing too much. I mean, it's possible to see all the trailers and featurettes that come out, and everything that's going to happen in the film, and they saved some stuff, so that was pretty good too.
Yeah, you didn't even know that there was going to be another monster in the movie. You thought it was just going to be Godzilla.
Yeah.
I loved what that guy said right before the Halo jump, where he said, "If you don't crash into a building, we'll meet you at the rally point."
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, those guys seem very real, and I think that was the key to this movie, is the reality-based approach. So many times when you're seeing a monster, you're seeing it framed somehow, like through a broken car window or an office building window, and it just brings you into this world. And some of the best previous Godzilla films did the same thing, where you're seeing a monster looking up from the street level, and it just gives it a whole real feel. And I felt that all throughout this movie, and I think they're really successful in putting this in the real world.
All right, guys, Godzilla, it's take it, apparently, for all of us. Ethan to a lesser degree, but he still liked it. Yeah. Mark, thanks for coming on the show tonight. Once again, before we go, why don't you plug your blog and your magazine that you write for?
Okay. My blog is monsterlandohio.blogspot.com. The tagline for it is just a dad and his son having giant monster fun. So that's really the only reason it exists, is to sort of trace where we've been and what we're up to, what we're watching. And the magazines that I write for, the big one is G-Fan, and you can find them at g-fan.com, and there's back issues there and whatnot. And I also write for a smaller fanzine called Mad Scientist. And the cool thing about that magazine is that the publisher and the main writer really is a scientist. He's a geneticist at University of Michigan, and he loves classic horror and sci-fi. And so that's where the Boggy Creek article was published that I wrote. That was on the site. So some fun stuff out there, and if you want to check it out, that would be really cool.
Yep. All right, we're here every week. We talk about comic books, we talk about pop culture, and this week we talked mostly about Godzilla. Next week, I don't know what we're doing. But you can find us on
We're
the
not going to
web.
read your letters.
We're
That's
not
for sure.
reading your letters. Actually, next week I will not be on the show. So next week you will be joining Paul, Alan, and Ethan, and whoever else they have on the show to fill in for me if they get anyone.
A block of wood.
Block of Wood will be filling in for me, probably doing a better job than I do.
We should have Hans from the Echo Room.
Yes.
You should absolutely do that.
That's gonna happen.
So anyway, Ancillary Characters, find us on the web at ancillarycharacters.com. Find us on facebook.com/Ancillary Characters. Find us on Twitter at Ancillary Tweets. You can find me on Twitter at Seth Breeds Love, Ethan on Twitter at Bazooka_Bob, Paul on Twitter at JollyGreen05, Alan on Twitter at Kalen Boone. Mark, you're on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle?
It's Reverend Matsky, all one.
There you go.
Twitter, yeah.
All right.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Send us letters to
Anytime.
letters at ancillarycharacters.com. That does it. Adios. I started cutting out way too early. I didn't realize we still had 20 seconds left. Here we go. Let's just really get into the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here it comes.
Great Godzilla ending.
Should have had this in the movie.
Beautiful. All right.